Hi, I'm Philip Rosemont with Mountainside Dance Center and Physical Therapy. My partner and I, Annie Williams, are presenting a series of therapeutic movement classes, which we normally do when we're on our normal schedule. However, because of the coronavirus, I'm doing this from my home. We will also be doing it from the studio when no one else is around. I'm going to start by showing you how we warm up in both the intermediate with some advanced modifications for those of you who are in better shape. So you know the intermediate class is mostly for people who have limited movement capabilities. This class works using the sensory motor system, so repracticing normal coordination behavior, strengthening the core, strengthening the arms or the legs, or just so that we can be strong, so that we can move and be facile in space and in everyday movement that we do, such as reaching for objects, opening jars, etc. Okay, so we start with a warm-up, and I'm going to show you again the intermediate version and then the later advanced version. Inhale up. So this is very similar to the salutation to the sun. Exhale down, as that you do in yoga. Inhale up, and exhale down. Inhale up, and exhale down. Inhale up through your nose, and exhale through your nose or mouth. Inhale up, and this is like genuflecting and bowing. Exhale down. Inhale up, and exhale down. Inhale up, and exhale down. Inhale up, and exhale down. Here's the advanced version. It's very simply, it's standing. So we're here, and I inhale up, and I bend and down. Inhale up. Again, this is not for people who have balance issues and weaknesses in their body. Exhale down. Inhale up, and exhale down. You can also do this one this way. Inhale up, and exhale down. Straighten these up, and exhale down. Do not try this if you are suffering from injuries and weaknesses and balance issues. Exhale down, inhale up, and exhale down. You're going to hear me say that repeatedly through this video, so don't be appalled that I'm saying it. There are some people that struggle with this. The next thing we do is start working on the arms. And the basic intermediate version is this: we're here. We're working on the shoulders and the triceps and other arms. And we start slow, low here. And the idea is that you straighten out and you're doing a very sustained, slow duration motion. Sustained out, and very important, sustained in. Concentric contraction is considered this, and it gets progressively harder with the band. And then eccentric here, which is really where the strength is built on that eccentric contraction. We're going to do about 6 of these. And the last one, try and keep your chin up, though I tend to forget and look down myself. Now I'm going to take that same thing as if your arms are resting on a table in front of you, shoulder height. And out. With these bands, you can make it harder by choking up on them and getting further in the middle. And you can find these bands at Walmart or on Amazon.com. This is a TheraBand, the first kind ever made. You won't find these online, but you'll find comparable with different colors and strengths. In. 2 more, out, and in. Sit up straight, and you're not leaning back into the chair. It's good to have a nice hard back chair, but with a cushion. Good. Rest for a second. Take a breath in, and exhale. Another one here. Out, and in, and out, and in. With the bands, it's called progressive resistance. Out, because the further it stretches, the harder it gets. Whereas if you did this with weights or something else, it would be maintaining resistance. It also worked different muscles because there's the gravity component involved. Good. Now let me show you this standing up so you can see it. So it's the same idea. I'm going to stretch out and in, and I'm going to keep my knees bent. Here's another way of doing it. in, out, and in. If you are sitting in your chair doing these exercises, you may repeat it or make them longer of what I showed you just before. Again, the same thing here. Out, in, out. And I like to follow with my eyes. The eyes tell us where we are in space so that we don't lose our balance. It's important for everybody. The same thing up here. I'm only showing a few of these. And in, out, and in, out, and in. And here's a modification. My left hand, your right, is down, and my right hand, your left, is up. And I lunge and reach. Bend and reach. And again, I follow the active hand with my eyes, and I keep the supportive hand in place. Other side. So I'm moving across a flat plane in front of my body, as if I'm thinking it's going up on a diagonal, down, up, and down, up, and down, up, and down. Good. Now let's return to our chairs and do another intermediate exercise. The band goes behind my back, kind of like washing your back with a towel. One person I know called this the mink stole because they used to wrap stoles around like this. And you can do this several ways. You punch out, and again it's progressive resistance, and in. Out, and in. This can be done lying on the floor or on your bed as well, on your back. I'm going to show that in a later video. And a more intermediate version for those who can't get up off the floor, but they can lie in their bed and get out of their bed, for people who are really severely injured, can do these exercises in their beds. This can also be done with a punch, a punch, a punch, a punch. Go to the side. Elbows out, elbows in. Try not to leave the elbows out when you come in. And in, out, and in, out, and in. And I'm showing these slightly faster than I usually do them, and just for the length of the video. And in. Doing this standing, we do front and in. Front. I'm going to show you this from the side so you can see this. Front, rounding, and lift the chest. Spinal flexion, spinal extension. You can do spinal extension and flexion, but it's harder on your back. Round and in. But the best way to do this is with a straight back and in. Then you can punch, 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 punch. And if you want a more aerobic workout, you can pick the tempo up. Punch. Okay, now we're going to do the side and in. And you can do one side and step and in. The other side and step, and again, I followed my eyes. So punching out and in, out and in. Again, you can choke up if you want to get on the band, if you want to get a more of a strong resistance from the band. Out and in. And here's another way of doing it. Step with the opposite leg out. And this is very good for your sensory motor system. Using opposites. Oppositional movement to do it. I'm going to show you that with the punches forward. Step forward one leg and in. The opposite leg and in. The opposite leg and in. The opposite leg and in. Same leg. Same leg. And what you're practicing here isn't just punching. You're practicing coordination. As we get older, or as certain injuries may have happened, those with head injuries, all sorts of things. Some of these coordinations are we lose and are hard to do. Good. Sitting down, moving on. You're going to take the band and sit on it. Anybody who's had a TBI, traumatic brain injury, or been through some sort of trauma like that, these are very good for that. Good. All right. So, now it's the same idea. We have our fists together, and you're going to press your hands up and down. Follow your fists with your eyes. Inhale, exhale down. I always say inhale on anything that moves out into reach space, and in and comes into compression. Inhale, exhale. You can do it the opposite, but this is a little easier in your lungs. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Again, it can be done with a punch, with a punch, with a punch, with a punch, a punch, with a punch. To this. Now, keep your arms like a bow. They're rounded, see? And you're going to keep them arms coming up. This is difficult for some people. If you have shoulder injuries or a torn rotator cuff, any problems with your muscles, this can be difficult. Use a lighter band. If the bands don't work, don't use a band. Do this without the band. You see, it can be done the same way. And up and down. Good. Now, how do we do that standing? Now, this band isn't very long, but I'm going to attempt to show you the idea. So I'm going to do it with bent knees. You should really step on this with two legs, but you can reach up and down. Up and down. And you do it with two legs. Up and down. Inhale, exhale. And there is a school of thought again that says, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. And that's very hard on your abdomen to do it that way. But some people recommend it be done the other way. And down. Good. Again, you can do this in a number of ways. Here's another one. Up. Up. And I am twisting my body. I've turned my body to the left. If you have a bad back, don't do this. If there's too much resistance, don't do it that side. And the other side. Keep breathing. Now I'm doing this rather aerobically in a higher tempo than I usually do it. So the duration can be longer of each stretch and return. Notice that the return is at the same rate of speed as the press. I don't let this happen. Good. So now, last couple of things. I'm going to take the band around my feet. Here, this is a seated row with band. I'm going to show you the easiest way to do this. You lean forward over your thighs. So you're in extreme hip flexion, but passive. So you're forward over your thighs. You take a breath in, and you bring your arms back and in. All I'm doing is moving my body back here, there. If you see this from the side, you can see that I'm doing on an angle like this. Now, here's the intermediate way of doing this, is that you have your legs extended. Same idea. You're leaning forward. And you go back and in. Now I teach this with my chin to my chest. You keep the kinetic chain of your muscles and fascia being connected tissue in between muscles and other joints. And you do this. Now always inhale, exhale, inhale. And these are like seated rows. And if you've ever done rowing, you can actually do a circular motion with your arms as if the oars are dipping in the water. Right? Good. And the hardest way to do this, which is extending the leg, exhale, bring these down. Inhale, exhale, these down. Try and keep my eyes forward, though my chin is to my chest. And in. Good. So the last couple of things that we tend to do in our TMC, or Therapeutic Movement class, or intermediate class. That one, by the way, can be done standing. I'll just show you a couple of them, which is here, like this. But it's not a genuine row-in. This is more of a latissimus dorsi exercise. Okay, sitting down. I forgot to show you that. I wanted to put it on there. Good. Simple bicep curls. You take the band in between your legs. You put one band inside of the band in between your thumb and forefinger, and the other behind your fifth finger, and it makes a nice loop. You rest that elbow on your thigh and curl up. If you can't bend that far forward, you keep it against your ribs and move up. Though don't choke up as much on the band because it takes it further and you get more resistance. If you can't do that, you know where you're going to go. Up. Up. 5. Up. 6. And notice again, I'm not letting it snap down. Concentric, eccentric, and the strength is actually built on this eccentric contraction. I'm going to do 10. I think this is 10. And here we go. Good. And I simply switch sides. If you can't do this with both sides of the band, you can release one side and just do one side of the band. 1. I'm going to do 2. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Good. And we're done with the bands. So I'm going to use the 3-pound ball to do these vectors or pathways, and you will see them. I'm going to do this seated 4 times each. I'm going to do this standing a few times each direction, and you'll see how much bigger it gets and how much more twist I get with the body. And then I'm going to do it moving across space. And moving across space means your cube has just grown to a large size. It takes practice to get the right pathway, to get a perfect diagonal. You have to visualize that in your mind. And part of our training is to visualize space as to where you're going, because we can no longer be facile at grabbing for objects and that sort of thing. So let's try this. We start with the ball in your left hand. My right is your left on your mirror image. You're going to go to back, low, right, to high, forward, left. 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 Switch hands. Good grip. Back, low, left, to high, forward, right. 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 I'm going to go front to back. Forward, low, right, to high, back, left. Forward, low, right. And really concentrate on those straight lines moving through space. Back, high, left, forward, low, right. Good. Switching. Last side, I'm going down to up. We're here on low, forward, left, to high, back, right. Forward, low, left, to high, back, right. Forward, low, left, to high, back, right. Forward, low, left, to high, back, right. Now we're going to go high to low. Same pathway I just did, but I start with the other hand, and I'm up here. Back, high, right, to forward, low, left. Back, high, right, to forward, low, left. Back, high, right, forward, low, left. Back, high, right, to forward, low, left. Switch hands. Back, high, left, to forward, low, right. 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 Good. Now we're going front to back. Keep in mind, you keep your eyes on the ball as much as possible. High, forward, right, to back, low, left. 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 Nice sustained motion. High, forward, left, to back, low, right. High, forward, left, back, low, right. High, forward, left, to back, low, right. High, forward, left, to back, low, right. And I can use your hands, twisting, however you want, but the idea is that you use your body and your eyes to do this. Now, this is going to get bigger once we stand up. Now, this gets more interesting for those of you who have balance. This involves more use of your legs. Stay seated in your chair and repeat the process if you are not able to maintain balance easily, because this does mess with balance for those of you who struggle with balance and falling. So now we're going to do this standing. This is not for people who struggle with falls or balance. I do teach a class called Fall with Grace, and we work on balance, on how to prevent falls from happening. And that is not just about obstructions, it's about how you work with your body in space. It's a whole nother thing. And then if you are capable, we can teach you how to fall if you need to. We do that started seating, just falling side to side. I'll tell you about that later. Let's start with this. Now we're going to be doing this in a much larger box. So I'm going to reach back, low, right, to high, forward, left, back, low, right, high, forward, left. Keep your body facing forward here. High, forward, left, back, low, right, high, forward, left. Switch hands. Good grip on the ball. Back, low, left, high, forward, right, back, low, left, high, forward, right, back, low, left, high, forward, right, back, low, left, high, forward, right. Switching. Forward, low, right, high, back, left, 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 forward, low, left, high, back, right, forward, low, left, high, back, right, forward, low, left, high, back, right. Keep your eye on the ball. Now going from high to low. Back, high, left, right, to forward, low, left, high, back, right, to forward, low, left, high, back, right, to forward, low, left, high, back, right, to forward, low, left. Immediately switching. Now we're going to go, I've got the ball in my left hand, we're going to go high, forward, right, to back, low, left, high, forward, right, back, low, left, high, forward, right, back, low, left, high, forward, right, to back, low, left. Switching, good grip, high, forward, left, to back, low, right, high, forward, left, to back, low, right, high, forward, left, to back, low, right, high, forward, left, to back, low, right. That's the whole series standing. This can be done moving as well. So I'm going to give just one or two of each done rather quickly so you can see. Back, low, right, to forward, high, left. Back, low, right, to forward, high, left. You have to walk on the diagonal to make that happen. And then the other side. Back, low, left, to high, forward, right. Back, low, left, to high, forward, right. And you really have to practice the diagonals. I'm not doing them quite accurately. I'm doing the best I can. And back. By the way, I'm wearing socks. They can be slippery, so be careful. Now I'm doing forward, low, right, to back, high, left. Forward, low, right, high, back, left. Other side. Forward, low, left, to high, back, right. Forward, low, left, to high, back, right. Now I'm going to go high to low, switching hands. Same pathway I just did, but I'm starting high. High, back, right. Low, forward, left. High, back, right. Forward, low, left. Other side. High, back, left. Forward, low, right. High, back, left. Forward, low, right. Good. Now I'm going to go front to back. Now high, forward, right. Back, low, left. High, forward, right. Back, low, left. High, forward, right. Back, low, left. I did 3 of those. Let's do the other side. The last one. High, forward, left. To back, low, right. High, forward, left. To back, low, right. High, forward, left. You can't wear tennis shoes when this. Socks can be slippery. If you're on the kind of floor I'm on, back, low, right. Good. Now, you want to stay facing front so your body twists when you do that. But keep in mind, this is not, doing it standing and doing it moving is not for everybody. So you should know that this is based on the work of Diane Woodruff. So now we've done the work with the bands, and now we're going to go on and do the upper body work with stretches, coordination, as well as strength movements with it. I'm going to be showing this with and without weights. In our intermediate class, I rarely do this with weights. However, it can be done with it for more advanced people. It can also be done standing. So I'm going to show as much of those as I can. Good. The first thing we're going to do is start with just warming up the shoulders as if they're not warmed up already. But this kind of loosens them up with some dynamic and ballistic stretching. So it's like washing the windows. If you saw the Karate Kid, this is one of the things that he was doing. And now we do the other way. And I try and cross them over. And as I say to some of my patients, big and loud. Good. And then you can do the same to the side. I like to do the side down so it looks like a vulture flying. Turkey vulture, we need them around these parts. Clean up the roads. And then the other side. Other way, the other direction. Good. And now you can take those and turn that into a crawl, as if you're swimming. And then the backstroke. And if you're so inclined with standing, let's do those same things here with the palms up. And I do this with a little knee bend. As the arms go down, I bend the knees. As the arms goes up, I straighten them. And then the other way. And again, keep breathing. Breath is extraordinarily important to all these. Then to the side. And then the other way. Crawl. Now you notice as I do this, I'm twisting my body. You can't swim with your legs when you're standing on the ground. So this kind of looks like a dance from the 60s, but it works. I'm twisting my shoulders and looking in the direction that my arm is swinging back. Now let's take our hand, take your right hand across your left thigh again. Then your left hand comes up and reaches over and you look over to the wall to your right. Keep stretching. These fingertips are as if someone's pulling you, pulling you. And then lower that hand down across the outside of the right thigh and look to the floor. Exhale as if you lost your contact. But then a balloon floats up and you look and keep your right shoulder back. Exhale, push this hand into your thigh. Then the other arm comes up and you stretch over to the other direction. Looking at that wall, someone's pulling on your right fingertips. And then that hand lowers. Keep breathing. Push against the thigh, look at the floor. Exhale, tummy in. Core muscles. We do use those a lot in this. Inhale and lift the chest up, keeping your left shoulder back. Then unwind with the palms up. And you're going to follow your hands back and twisting around. I follow it's my right hand, your left hand. And then in the other direction. 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 Good. Rest for a second. Shake your arms out holistically. There are 7 kinds of stretches out there that you can use. And believe it or not, this is one of those forms. Holistic and dynamic stretching. Good. So now you're going to clasp your fingers together and round your arms and exhale. And inhale. And bring the shoulders back and lift. And exhale. And inhale. And back. And I'm not showing most of these standing, but this one I am in a second. The prior are best done seated, I think. And inhale. And exhale. And the shoulders round forward as the body rounds. And then we go into spinal extension. The shoulder blades go together. Good. Now, these are mostly for the shoulders, but I'm using the whole back in this too. Spinal flexion and extension. Hands down on the knees, and you lift your shoulders up and down. Up and down. Up and down. Up and down. You can do one and then the other, one and the other. Also with the arms up and down. They stick them up. Give me all your money. Up and down. You can do one and then the other, and the other. Hands on hips. Rolling your shoulders like there are wheels on an axle. So you roll one way, down, back, up, forward, down, back, up, forward, down, back, up, forward, and the other way. Down, back, forward, up, down, back, forward, up, over, back, back, down, up, forward. I said it backwards. Good, that's the idea. Now it can also be done with the hands here as in a jazz dance exercise, but this takes a little more coordination. And this can be done standing as well. So I'm going to show you that. So we take the hands here, clasp the fingers round, inhale, arch the back, straighten into these, and look up, and spinal flexion, round forward, pulling with your hands like it's pulling your shoulders forward, so that's guiding the motion. Then the shoulder blades together and the shoulders back, lifting up goes here. That's right. Then we have our hands down, and we here, and the shoulders up and down. I do the straightening the legs, then one, and then the other, and one, and then the other. A little Latin dance here. Up, reach, reach, reach. Can be done with the opposite hip. Reach, reach, and it gets sexy. Reach, reach. You don't have to do that, but it's good to do it. The shoulders, hands here. You can take one shoulder forward, one shoulder forward, one shoulder forward, one shoulder forward. And this can be done stepping. And if any of you have done any Latin dancing, it's there. It's not all about the hips. The shoulders are involved. So this is all about using the shoulders. Good. Let's go down and sit now. We're going to do that same thing with the hands, but this time they're going to clasp behind the head. You take the shoulders forward. Elbows pull the head. You want pressure on your hands in the back of the head. That's extraordinarily important in this. Exhale, round forward. Inhale, elbows back, shoulder blades together, and you arch. The spine is doing the same thing as you did with the shoulder exercise, but now the concentration is on the head and the neck and the pressure of the hands on the head. And then you can do, and the same idea, round forward and up. Good. Now, you're going to take your hand across, so your left hand, the fingers are above your right ear. You're going to, again, push your hand against that head and head against hand. We're going to pull our bodies over to your right, stretching the left side of your body, tummy in. I have to have big tummy in because I'm slightly out of shape myself, in case you hadn't noticed that. And then the head against the head, and you just pull the head over, and you're going to see something very extraordinary happen here that is hardwired in the human body. Keep pressure of your head on that hand. You must do that to save your neck, and you're stretching in here, but when you let go, the head, by reflex reaction, floats up. It almost wants to go to the other side. Okay, now we do the other side. So you're going to place your right fingertips just above your left ear, push against the hand, and you're going to stretch over to your left, stretching this side of your body, latissimus dorsi and trapezius. And then you come up and pressure on that hand. You're going to pull the head over. Keep your chin up. Don't tuck the chin or drop it back too much. Straight side. So you're bringing that right ear to the right shoulder, keeping the neck as long as you can by pressure of the hand against the hand, and it drifts up. Good. So now you're going to drop your head and look straight down. Quickly look straight up. Quickly down. Quickly up. Quickly down. Quickly up. Quickly down. Quickly up. Head center. Quickly to your right. Spot left. In ballet and gymnastics and martial art forms, they call this spotting. Spot, it means you very quickly look in a direction, so no matter what your body is doing, you can maintain your center of balance visually. Good. So now we're going to work on the lower body, working from the waist down, but also with the arms. So the first thing I do is to get that going is just to march in place. I'm going to give both the intermediate and beginning, because this is beginning as well, versions of this. Do the legs closed and legs wide. But keep in mind the advanced version, which I'm also going to do, is done standing. So you can do this standing as well. Notice I'm not using my arms much at all. Now, we're going to do the same thing, marching. Get on the front of your chair. So you really want to be on the front of your chair like you did in previous exercises.
mess it up on sometimes too. And then you can do it with your legs forward and reach for it. It's getting a little more advanced now. My knees are straight. I'm sitting on the edge of the chair, so I can keep my knees straight when they go down. Now, this is not for those of you who struggle with balance problems or have other things. We're getting progressively harder with this. Standing version, same idea. Legs are higher, lean a little forward. You don't want to bring your hand down to your knee until the knee is up. Same to the side. High as you can. Harder version. Crossing over. Okay, I can actually do it with the same arm. You don't have a center of balance, don't do this. This is advanced. Even I fall like I just did a little bit. A little slower. To the side. Now the crossover, which I actually just did. Now we're going to do the same thing, but legs crossing over. So I'm crossing the hands over the legs to do this version. A little harder. Why? I have to twist my body like I did in some of the prior exercises. Now with the legs straight, crossing over. And now with the legs wide. This is really advanced. I don't recommend this for everybody. Some of you should go right back to here. And maybe not do as many. But I'm giving everything here so you can get the idea. Good, let's stand up. Same idea. Crossing over the front. Legs are straight. You can do this with the knees bent. Crossing over. Legs straight. Now legs to the side. You better have a darn good center of balance and be in pretty darn good shape in order to do it this way. Good. If that doesn't get your heart rate up, well, you're in pretty darn good shape. Again, so let's try this, some other things now. Now, I'm going to have your hand, fold your hands like we did before behind your head, and you're going to bring your right knee to your left elbow and vice versa. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Beginning version of this is just the elbow to the knee without lifting the leg. Inhale, exhale on the way down, inhale, advanced version. The intermediate version. A little more advanced. Reach. Down. Reach. Down. Reach. Down. Reach. Down. Good. Now to the side. Legs wide. First start with dip side to side. Easy version. I'm going to lift one leg. So these look a little absurd, some of these. Again, this is starting to get harder. Try not to lift your sit bones. You want both on the chair as you do this. Then it gets a little harder. Standing version. The easy version is just to do this. Standing, again, you don't do this unless you have a good center of balance and you're strong enough to pull it off. You're on walker or any other sort of problem, you don't want to do this. Then the more advanced version. Then the even more advanced version. I struggle with this with balance because I too have some injuries. Like I have a numb left foot, which needs surgery. Good. Again, that's getting your heart rate up there. Good. Take a break. And to the side. Some of these you're going to see as you work towards the bar that we're going to be able to do getting harder. Good. that we actually do them at the bar and they're simpler, but that is an intermediate beginning version. You don't do these advanced versions unless you're really in good shape. So you know, all the prior movements that we did seated in the chair can be done lying down as well in your bed. If you're bedridden and you're not ambulatory, use your arms. Start to use your legs. You can modify those in many different ways. Good. So let's move along. So we're going to take the same idea with the legs and walk them straight, leaning back. My sit bones are right on the edge of the chair. I grab the back of my chair anywhere is convenient. This is hard. Again, easy version, intermediate version, a little harder. Again, you don't do this if you feel like you're going to slide off the chair. Always do this with your chin to your chest. Good. Take a break, lean forward, and go back. Legs to the side. Easy version. Intermediate version. More advanced version. And again, this can be done lying on the floor or on your bed as well, but that's actually harder in many ways. But you keep your chin to your chest. So when you keep your chin to your chest, it's like creating a kinetic chain through your abdomen there as you start building a strong core and abdominal muscles doing these, okay? Do not do them this way if you have a bad back. Stenosis, osteoporosis, kyphosis, lordosis, but you need to be careful. If you've got a bad back, slip disc, that sort of thing, be careful, okay? That's recommended with all these exercises. Some of you may notice that your thighs are really getting you. Everything we've been doing here is working what's called hip flexion, lifting your leg to the front and to the side, okay, and to the side front. Now we're going to do a few things that are facing backwards. I'm extending my right leg. I'm sitting off the edge of the chair, so I only have my left thigh here. If you're facing that way in your chair and you're facing me, it'd be your right leg. You're here. I'm going to extend my leg back as far as we can go and lean forward. Exhale, inhale. So you know, if you're really athletic, you can do many of the movements I just showed you with ankle weights and weights in your hand. Good. So now another version of this is leaning forward and the leg comes off the floor. Again, not for the faint of heart. If you're bedridden, if you're in a wheelchair, obviously, if you're in a walker, if you're impaired, please be careful with these. Here's another version. Now you notice my arm's going opposite our leg. This is the sensory motor practice part of this. Oppositional movement is something we lose as we get older and difficult to do. Switching to the other side. And I'm leaning forward over my leg. Or, now notice I'm breathing in and out. That helps keep your heart rate up. It also keeps your blood oxygenated so that you keep the breath going, the heart rate up. And that's what you want to do in your exercise. Breath is 50% of it. Again, it's sensory motor exercise. Sitting off the edge of your chair, which I neglected to do. Good. Coming back to center. I'm going to give you some supplementary to what we've done already exercises. I'm going to extend my arm and leg and punch out with my leg. Do it with a pointed foot, a flexed foot, a flexed hand. Pointed foot, reaching with the fingers. Flexed hand, toe, toe. Opposition. Flex, flex, toe, toe. You don't have to alternate it like this. You can do all flexed or all pointed. Or you can do the foot's pointed and the hand's flexed. Foot's pointed, hands flexed. Foot's flexed, hands reaching. Foot pointed, hands flexed, half reaching. Hard to get all this stuff together. Good. Waggle, which is my word, your knees. Good. Again, working with what we call hip extension, which is what I was doing when I was facing that way, it's lifting the leg behind us. You're going to take your knee and drop it in. You have the chair, and you drop over, and rock back and forth. Drop over. I'm touching my leg to the side, and then knees dropping in. If you have a hip replacement, please be very careful with this. Many of these exercises are not meant for people with certain kinds of hip replacements. And you lift and lower. Again, take it in. The knee drops inward, downward this way. Solid on the ground with that leg. Now keep in mind, many of these exercises I don't often give in my general class, but this is something where you can play with it. Find which one works for you, and while I'm showing the rest of these, you do the original one that you think works for you. So you may be just into doing this. Or you may make it harder. This is the next exercises we're doing. Again, sitting on the edge of my chair, and then the other side. This may be all that you want to do, and you keep doing that while the rest of us are doing this, rocking our body forward and back. Always keep your lower abdomen strong. Exhale on the extension, inhale on the back. Good. Rest. And when you rest, you can stretch. So here's some things you can do in between, although we'll do this now. I have my arms up. I'm reaching up and over. Probably best to keep one hand in there. I'm going to stretch and reach toward my toe. And I'm going to exhale and hold. You can do this lying down, and this you can do this standing. He's going to show all these standing in a minute. And again, I'm reaching towards my toe and relaxing. Good. All right. Good. Now I'm going to do another stretch this way. You can take your hand in front of your leg. My arm is up. And I reach over. So I'm going sideways, shoulder towards that knee. I'm not turning towards it. I'm actually looking up. Get a nice side stretch. And then in. And this can, of course, be done seated on the floor for more advanced people. Or for lesser advanced people, it can be done in your bed. Although it messes your sheets up, that's okay. That's what beds are for. Good. Another thing you can do is take that leg as far back. Some of you, this is as far back as that leg can go, unlike what I showed earlier. And you can go forward, and then just leave the toe where it's relaxed. And lift your chest up. Then you can turn to face the back. So I'm turning to face the shoji behind me. And then if you can stretch your leg a little further, you can. And then we're going this way. And we're going to turn and stretch again. And we're going to leave it here. But this foot knee is relaxed on the floor. Some of you, this is as far as you're going to get it back. That's okay. You take that as far as you can. Good. And then we can stretch. So you're here. And you stretch forward. And up. And again, and I'm not going to show these for too long, because we're going to do all of these at the bar. And the bar is what we use in the intermediate version of this. My wife is going to help us with some calf raises, you're going to see, when we're standing at the bar. But I will show you more later as we go along. Good. To the bar.